program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Supercrow stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
Welcome to the Superpowers for Good show from the SuperCrowd. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and tonight is our quarterly live pitch. And we have such great companies presenting tonight. This is something you do not want to miss 1 minute. So if you have to miss 1 second to go grab a snack or a bucket of popcorn so that you can sit here for the next 2 hours, please do. Miss me. Stick around for the presenters. This is going to be really, really great stuff. We're just excited to have you. The great thing about our quarterly live pitch is that unlike some famous shows that are on network television, you can invest. Just like that show, our investors are professional investors who put money into the deal sometimes, but unlike that show, you can invest right along with them in the regulation crowdfund offerings that they're all undertaking right now today. This is very exciting. You get to be the shark with the SuperCrowd. Okay. I want to thank my colleague Chandan Saha. He's the producer of this show. He does a tremendous job. I can't say enough good things about Chandan and the work that he does to support us. So Chandan, thank you very, very much. I want to introduce you to the tremendous expert panel that will be serving as our judges tonight. Among them, Teddy Lyons. He is one of the investment analysts at KingsCrowd. They have a fund that they manage, and he's one of those that's doing the genuine due diligence, helping to decide not only what the fund should invest in, but also what others who subscribe to those reports should be investing in. A tremendous influencer in this space. We're thrilled to have Teddy on the panel of judges tonight, along with Woodie Neiss. Sherwood Woodie Neiss is one of the real OGs of crowdfunding, and he too manages a fund, very scientifically managed using all kinds of modern technology and a human board that's layering on years of investment judgment to make that fund work well. And so he's investing in some of these deals, but he literally is one of those who helped to write the Jobs Act that governs regulation crowdfunding and was at the White House for the signing ceremony in 2012. Big deal. We're thrilled to have him. And Paul Lovejoy is with us. He's a registered investment advisor. His clients are he's helping them manage money to do more good in the world while optimizing and maximizing returns, including especially opportunities to invest through regulation crowdfunding. And he once spent a leap year, 366 days, making an investment every year. He's just really an expert and an influencer and a professional money manager. We're thrilled to have him on the program. I want to introduce you to something really special, and that is that tonight we'll be doing, we're going to have a great panel of companies pitching tonight, but I really want to emphasize that you are invited to stick around after the live stream that we're televising on E360 TV network, which you can download that to your Roku, your Amazon Fire TV device. You can download it to your LG Smart TV if you've got one. So lots of ways to watch this literally on television with your bowl of popcorn on the sofa, in the recliner, however you like to watch your television. Watch us there. But you can also see us on Substack. You can see us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So it's easy to find us. If you're watching on one of those social media platforms, you can also submit comments, and we will see them. In fact, we will not only see them, if they're appropriate for television, we'll share them on screen so you can see them. It's going to be really a fun night. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions. You'll have an opportunity to vote on the winner of the Supercrowd Award at the end of the program. Really, this is going to be great. But stick around after the live streaming to television. You'll get the opportunity to join the private investor Zoom. And Janet, let's make sure that's on the screen for just a moment, if you don't mind. This private investor Zoom is open to everyone who's interested genuinely in investing. You can come ask the founders questions. Ask them those hard questions that we can't necessarily answer on television. Regulations limit what can be said on television, but in a private setting, there's a lot more flexibility. And so we invite you to join us so you can have that kind of one-on-one interaction with the issuers and ask them the hard questions that maybe didn't get answered during the live stream. So stick around. You don't want to miss any of this. With that, I need to pay quick homage to our tremendous sponsors who really make this possible. And so I'm going to share a quick tribute to our sponsors. Stick around. You don't want to miss this.
Join us for Super Green Live, where climate capital meets action, January 22nd through 24th. Register at supergreenlive.org. Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
You don't need a pitch deck. You need a following. Because in this era, the crowd is the capital. Raise from your fans. Turn customers into shareholders. Launch your round on your terms. Dealmaker. Equity crowdfunding for the new era.
Welcome back. I'm so excited to introduce you now to John Burlett. He's the founder of Core Tax Deeds LLC and president of Tandon Trust Financial Group, with 3 years of experience in real estate and retirement planning. He specializes now in Texas tax deed foreclosures, transforming overlooked properties into strong investor returns and really delivering some significant impact by accelerating the collection of taxes in rural places, rural counties in Texas that really struggle to meet all the needs of the community as it is. So he's really driving some significant impact. He'll tell you more about that, but stick around for this pitch. You don't want to miss 1 second of this. John, take it away.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you, judges, audience, sharks. My name is John Burlett. I'm founder and fund manager of Core Tax Deeds in Texas. Now imagine you own 15 acres of property in Texas, and for some reason or another, you hadn't paid your property taxes. What happens in Texas after 2 to 3 years of being notified by the tax collection office, they turn the account over to a law firm who proceeds to get a judgment. And then next thing you know, your property is up for sale at something called a sheriff's sale. Now, these happen every month. At first Tuesday of the month, tomorrow morning, we'll be in 7 counties bidding on these properties. But at 10 a.m., the property gets auctioned off to the high bidder. The high bidder is something called a sheriff's deed. This sheriff's deed conveys all the right, title, and interest you own in that property, subject to your right of redemption. Now in Texas, the statutes provide you anywhere from 6 months to 2-year right of redemption. The 6-month applies if the property is not homesteaded or not an agriculture exemption. In other words, raw land, unimproved properties, or properties that have improvements that are not homesteaded. And homestead's a really big thing in Texas. Now, you as the new owner, we get all the right title and interest you held, subject to your right of redemption. As I explained, in the event you're able to redeem the property in the first, if it's a 6-month redemption, 180 days, you have to pay us everything we paid plus a flat 25% penalty. Now, that's not an interest rate. It's a penalty that applies if you redeem your property within 1 day, 1 week, or 5 months. In effect, that's a 50% first-year yield, ladies and gentlemen, in the event your property is redeemed. I'm going to blow my slide up here and move on the page if I can figure out how to advance. Are you able to help me move that slide, Devin? There we go. Back up one, please. All right, so I learned a long time ago you can't expect what you don't inspect. So we have a team of 4, advance please the slide, 4 managing partners who, like myself, go out in the field and inspect these properties. This is a picture from this past week. I spent 3 days, over 1,500 miles, touring over 30 properties in 3 counties. So, firm believer, you cannot expect what you don't inspect. I'm going to try to advance the slide again, please. Okay. This is a property we acquired in May of this year. It was a home. It is a home, and that's a sample of a sheriff's deed we received on this home. That's the before picture. The owner had been deceased over 4 years from the date of the auction, and there was a daughter in title chain. I'd got a hold of the daughter before the auction. She explained to me that she hadn't seen her parents in many years, and she was trying to sell the property, didn't have the money to pay the taxes, so she'd never even seen the property. Next page, please. Here's what the property looked like after we got in it on the day of the auction. Lots of clutter, trash, junk, treasures, even a motorhome in the backyard. It took 3 loads of 30-yard haul-offs to clean the debris out of this house. But we got it done. Next slide shows you the current state of this property. This is the same property we bought in May for $29,100. It's walking distance to the only mall in Corpus Christi, Texas. And we've done a lot of cleanup. We're going to add a second bathroom. It's currently a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. Next slide, please. We have submitted the drawings to the city of Corpus. The architectural drawings have been prepared to add a second bath. We anticipate the ARV value on this property $215,000. Next slide. Now, out of 24 properties we purchased at tax sales, only 4 have structures on them. Of those 4, 2 of them have had to be demolished. And we pretty much knew that going in. We didn't know because for sure you don't know the condition of the house. It's as is, where is. You're not supposed to go inside of it, even though it's vacant. We made money on the property we demoed because we bought it for less than the value of the dirt. Here's some of the diligence we do. This sale's tomorrow. This is a little over 6-acre piece, assessed value over $63,000, 6.5 acres. The assessed value, I said 63 to opening bids like $3,500. We'll probably bid up to about $15,000. Next slide, please. That's one of our partners that help us in the underwriting. Now, tax deeds is a perfect example of an imperfect market. Not everyone knows how they work. You need special knowledge to evaluate the liens, the title, the risk. And we have a team in place. People I've known over 25 years, have 4 managing partners. I've personally been buying these properties for over 30 years. And all of my managing partners have skin in the game between 25 and 50,000. And they all are extremely knowledgeable. And one of them is a real estate attorney, 45-year practitioner. Another one is actually my ex-brother-in-law. I've known him since I was a teenager. He's a building contractor. Another one of the managing partners is a real estate magnate and has hundreds, actually, ranches in and around Central Texas where Elon and team are buying up, and Samsung properties. And then the 4th managing partner is a lady who I've known all of them over 25 years. She is involved in helping on the running the business as well. Do we have
Fantastic, John. We got to call time, but
okay?
John, we're excited to get our judges going here. Ask you some pertinent questions. Paul, why don't you get us started? Oh no, Paul, we're not
Oh,
hearing.
yeah. Hi, John.
How are you there, Paul?
Good. Hey, I think it's great that you found a way to make tax deed investing appealing to me. I can make this investment without displacing families or the elderly who are particularly vulnerable to this type of situation. The deeds in this venture are often from, as you said, vacant land or abandoned homes. And having the taxes paid, well, it helps the entire community. However, what I think would take this offering from mild social impact to a large one would be to activate the local economic multiplier effect with as many local investors within the county as possible. Do you actively seek out investment within the community where you purchase the deeds? If so, what does that process look like? If not, how could you incorporate more locals into the pool of investors?
Great idea. At this point, no, we don't have any plan in place to target local investors. And even get the message out to them. We do have pretty regular communications with the taxing entities, the law firms within within the counties that represent the counties. But that's a great idea. I'd like to give some thought to how we could involve the local residents that will, in fact, benefit from their taxes being collected, because they're very important. These are what keeps the schools running. The controversial as it is, the city staff, employees, roads and grounds, bridges, emergency services, all critical services that those tax revenues are applied to. So great idea. I certainly will look into that, Paul, and see how we could target we've got property so far in 7 counties, so it would not be too big to get our arms around and launch something along those lines.
Great, Woody. What questions do you have?
Yeah. Hey, John. Great job. When I first heard of this, I thought it was a legal drama. You've explained it very well, so now I know it's not. I love the fact that you provide returns. I think, from our perspective, when we are looking at investing in companies from our fund D3VC, we always want to know what is in it for the investor. And so it's fascinating when we're looking at these opportunities that you're presenting us one that has, short-term returns tied into it. I want to talk a little bit about the logistics of it, though. When you're, at these sheriff auctions, who are you competing with? How many people are there? How do you win on this? And what is the capital itself that you're seeking? What's holding you back from doing more of these deals? And just to layer on another question, since, they all tie in together, how much expansion can you do with this capital? Or is it just stuck in this community, or one of few communities in Texas?
Okay, you may have to remind me of the second part of that question, but let me tackle the first. Enabled to what we're seeing in the live auction. So let me help you understand that in Texas, we're way behind the curve on going to online auctions. Only about 20% of the counties currently hold the sales online. So the live auctions that take place the first Tuesday at 10 a.m. each month typically have anywhere from 15 active bidders to over 100. And it gets smaller and smaller the metro. So we tend to stay out of the metro market. We don't bid in Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio currently. The closest thing we get to is a county in near Austin, Williamson County, and we'll be there tomorrow. One of our partners will be there. Been looking at property all week. And by the way, that's another little nuance. You don't know which properties are going to still be at the auction until, well, you never know for sure till tomorrow morning, because many people come and pay at the last minute, the Friday or the Monday. So we don't spend a lot of time field underwriting properties until the last few days before the auction. But we'll be there tomorrow morning. This county is called Williamson County. It's a live auction. A lot of people there. However, online, I manage all the online auctions. I'll be in 5 counties tomorrow morning. One of them actually doesn't go off till the afternoon, 2 o'clock, so that helps manage that logistic a little bit. One of our managing partners in north central Texas, he went out there today, met with some lawyers. He's a lawyer himself, met with the tax office and searched some records because there's some large parcels with some mineral rights that we're tracking and hoping to buy it tomorrow. So logistics is online. I don't know till the auction's over. I can see who the competing bidders were once the auction's over online, and I can see how much they bid, when they bid, how much they bid. And so that's helpful, but not until after the auction. There could be thousands. They can be bidding online from all over the world. There's not. I mean, I see the action after the auction, but you just really don't know on the online sales.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's give Teddy a chance to ask you a question.
Hi, Teddy.
Yeah, hey John. Hey, great job. So I'd love to dig in a bit more and see if you could kind of walk us through your due diligence process when you're assessing these properties in person, what you look for, red flags you typically see. And given you've had so much success in your career, why is your due diligence and underwriting process better than others?
Love the question. So I've been doing this a little over 30 years. I've strongly learned at a very young age, you can't expect what you don't inspect. Occasionally, I'll send an Uber driver by and give him a tip to take a snapshot on a piece of dirt. But 9 times out of 10, we're going to look at that property, and nothing beats getting familiar with the lay of the land, I call it. The terrain, the neighborhood, location. It's basic number one, location, location, location. Although I love locations that are out of the prime. For example, we bought a hard corner in Victory, Texas, either April or it must have been March, because we just put it on the market with a commercial real estate broker. Now, we had half an acre, and it had frontage on both sides. It's a highway and an old Goliad Road intersection, but there was a little apex half acre in between us and the corner. I got a hold of that property owner. Both of our properties are worth significantly less unless we package them together. Long story short, we put our half acre, his half acre. Now we got a 1 acre hard corner where the local commercial broker said it's priced per square foot. We just put it on the market for $140,000. We paid $8,000 for our half acre, and he's happy. He's been paid twice because the highway right of way came through his 10 acres, and he's already cashed in several times on his little apex corner that got left out. I bought shrimp farms. Every property has a story. It's fascinating. And so to answer your question, I believe my experience, what to look for, what to shy away from, getting a real feel for the area is something you can't really teach, certainly not within a year or two of training somebody. Was there a second part of that question, or was it?
No, that was great, John. Thanks.
Okay.
All righty. We've got time for one bonus question. Who's got a bonus question for John?
I'm kind of curious, John, what kind of profit margin are you expecting from a sale? Like, what's a typical amount?
Triple digits. We've had 7 exits of our first 10 properties that we've acquired. We've bought 24 properties since April of 24. We bought 24 properties of the first 10. 1 was redeemed. So we've only had 1 redeemed and 6 sales.
Sale. Like, what's a typical
average? Triple digits. You won't believe it.
Wow.
Triple digits.
Wow, that's great.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much I can get into if that's prohibited on this platform. I have a securities attorney on my advisory board. And
Good.
It's really,
But I think it's okay to talk about past deals that you've done and the returns, reminding people that past performance is not a guarantee of future performance. But I think if it's part of this deal, we need to be a little bit more careful.
I can tell you some real life stories. I bought a corner lot next to a Catholic church for $1,100 and some change, sold to the church for $38,000. So do the math on that. I bought another corner for $50,000 even, sold it for $502,000. In this fund, this was all prior to the fund, those two examples. In this fund, we bought a lot for $9,000. We sold it for $39,000, 50% down, seller finance. And he had his first payment this month and sent additional $1,000 toward the principal.
Real quick, John, if I could just, how many properties do you need to buy a year to keep this going, or what's your target?
Our goal is to raise 1.235 under the Reg CF, and I'm optimistic we may hit that by the end of the year. We certainly have till April of 24 to keep the fund open. Our target is to buy somewhere close to 4 million plus valuation for the $1.2 million, and continue to distribute those profits and grow. There's a lot of talk amongst my team of doing a side-by-side, a Reg D 506C. We've got a pilot program we're just launching now with a whale investor worth $70 million that's pledged $1 million for us to deploy. It's kind of a one-off. It's not part of this fund. And that's fully disclosed and allowed in our offering documents.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, we're at time, folks, but I really, John, great deal. It's so fascinating to listen. I want to encourage everyone to take seriously the opportunity to consider investing today. You can visit, and Shannon will put on the screen the links, but you can visit there today, evaluate whether this is a fit for your portfolio, and make an investment. You can do all of this right now. I encourage you to check it out. Stick around because you want to vote later. You don't want to miss your opportunity to vote and help us choose the Supercrowd winner tonight. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Lisa Marino, the CEO of Dopple, ready to present. So this, more great stuff. You don't want to miss it.
For Super Green Live, where climate capital meets action, January 22nd through 24th. Register at supergreenlive.org.
Your community isn't just support, it's capital. It's belief, loyalty, and dollars. Turn your customers into shareholders. Let them own a piece of what they helped build. Grow together. Stronger, louder, funded, deal maker.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today. Welcome back, everyone. We're so excited to have you all here. This is I'm excited now to introduce you to Lisa Marino. She's the CEO and founder of Dopple. She is the first in her Mexican immigrant family to graduate from college. She's a resilient entrepreneur and a single mom, a Wharton and Stanford alum. She built and sold several companies, handcrafted her own home, and still lives by the motto, no friends on powder days. In fact, I'm sure she's joining us from near a ski slope, although I don't suspect there's any skiing going on today. Lisa, we're thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will turn the time over to you. Are your slides working? Let's make sure we've got that going.
Let's see. Yep, we got slides.
Okay, excellent. Take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Lisa Marino, CEO and founder of Dopple. We are simplifying family funding for every age and every stage. The idea for Dopple started in 2002. I was finishing business school, planning a wedding, founded my first startup, and discovered I was having a baby. We lost our student health care weeks before the birth of our daughter, and when she was born, we were on welfare and food stamps. I learned then that there is a real safety net available, but it's impossible to navigate. Dopple is the map. Did you know that 2/3 of families live paycheck to paycheck while there's tens of billions of dollars in government, philanthropic, and friends and family dollars that go unused every single year? Dopple is the rails that connects these families to funding, and we streamline access to every dollar. We start by aggregating funding sources, whether government, philanthropic, or friends and family. Then we match families with the funds they qualify for and simplify application processes. Families get the help they need just to cover the basics. We're a real company. We drove $1 million of revenue in 2024, and we've got 3 pilots commencing in September and October. 2 of the 3 pilots provide a national footprint and, in success, offer very low customer acquisition costs. With these 3 pilots alone, we not only make our numbers for the next 2 years, we blow through them. We are obviously in the family market, which Halogen Ventures estimates to be about $7.5 trillion a year. Our TAM within that market is about $80 billion. By serving just 1 million customers per year, which is a meager 3% of the market, Dopple becomes a billion-dollar company. Unlike typical registries, which only really monetize a discrete event, such as the birth of a child, Dopple looks to monetize the other 99% of family expenses and really expand the sources of funding for those families. We make money in 3 ways. First, our donor and gifter fees. Those have a margin of about 5 to 10%. Second, our product sales. So think diapers, formula, clothing. Margin there is roughly 30%. And then advertising sponsorships. Almost all registries make a significant portion of their revenue from advertisers. So Graco, Pampers, the who's who of people in this space. We're on track for profitability by the end of 2026. And by the end of 2027, we'll be a very attractive acquisition candidate. By 2030, revenue soars to over 140 million, and we serve over 140,000 families, which is just 0.4% market penetration. Because of our scaled customer acquisition partnerships, CAC stands strong at $150 per family, with net margin per family fueling the model and our profitability. Dopple stands out relative to our competitors by helping families fund themselves over time thanks to our unmatched funding depth. Our 2x2 matrix highlights this edge. Our feature table tracks how Dopple leads on tech and strategic value relative to our competitors. We've got a patent pending on end-to-end payments, and as well as SKU management by family, by product, and by donor, which is very complex and unmatched in the market to manage at a data and a user experience level. Hold on. In terms of exits, as a 3-time entrepreneur, I care very much about what that means for our investors. We evaluate these things in 2 different ways. First, we've got a great floor in McClatchy Media, who is not only the co-lead in the seed round, but also led our angel round in 2024 because they believe in the vision and they believe in the team. McClatchy's acquisitive, bought my last company, and seeks profitable, high-growth opportunities, which Dopple will be within the next 12 months. I think I skipped a slide, so let me go back. Oh, no, I did not. In terms of the team, the C-level execs are a proven group that's worked together for over 13 years. We scaled RockU from 15 million to 150 million profitably, and then we sold it in just 4 years. I also sold my last company to McClatchy Media, a $1 billion revenue organization who obviously invested in the Dopple financing rounds. As a team, we're experts in product development, e-commerce tuning, and the overall mom audience. So why should you invest in Dopple? One, we've got proven investors already backing us, whether McClatchy, notable angels such as Jeremy Liu and Neil Dempsey, as well as the state of New Jersey. I've also put over $1 million of my own money into this company. The round gets Dopple to profitability. We'll invest the funds to expand the platform, onboard customers, and expand our pilots.
Fantastic. We're just thrilled. Teddy, why don't you start?
Yeah, Lisa, great job. Great to see you again. So you mentioned, it's mentioned on your raise page, and you mentioned during your presentation that billions in aid goes untapped every year from things like the Child Care and Development Fund, funds that are earmarked for these families. So curious, what are other examples of these types of philanthropic support funds? Why are they so underutilized and untapped today? And what is your process for finding new sources of this type of capital for your users?
Sure. So I think there's a few ways to answer that question. One is as it relates to the efficiency of capital. So a lot of times, let's say you're Pivotal or the Gates Foundation, you're donating or you're providing a grant to an organization that has a substantial infrastructure to support the community and the field work of that particular organization. And so a lot of the money, anywhere from 25 to 50%, actually stays within the non-for-profit rather than going to the families themselves. So at an efficiency level, Dopple ensures that 90% of all dollars goes directly to the families themselves for actual support and benefit. And the platform provides those receipts, right? So let's say somebody wants to sponsor diapers in New Jersey. We've got the ability to track every transaction for that donor to prove that 90% of their dollars actually went for diapers to families in New Jersey. The second piece is you've got something called donor advised funds, which have billions of dollars allocated to those funds every year. However, it's difficult for people to find investments and to find things to sponsor and allocate those dollars. And that's going to be a primary place that we go after for these philanthropic funds.
Fantastic. Paul, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Lisa, I love how you know to the exact amount of families you need to break even. I saw that 750. To me, that's like so important. Like you think everything through. So I love that. Now my research regarding registry industry, that customer acquisition in this space is brutal, and the platform complexity is a major execution risk. Now, I heard you mention that your customer acquisition costs are low. What are they? And could you explain what's the difference between your customer acquisition versus another registry like Amazon or one of the other ones?
So because we're aggregating funding sources, community groups who have families as customers already want to work with us. And let's take Head Start. That's probably the best and most scaled example. In about 10 days, we're going to be launching a pilot with Head Start in LA County. And when you think about Head Start, that is where many, many families, 750,000 children, get their preschool from. And so by succeeding in this pilot and bringing on a couple hundred families through LA Head Start, I now get access to all the other Head Start facilities throughout the US. And so when we bring value to their families in terms of philanthropic dollars, a friend and family structure, they allow us to access their families for free. And so at least in case of the pilot and in Head Start, we're not paying anything for user acquisition. And so having scaled partnerships like that who are focused on everyday families, because we bring multiple funding sources to the table, they want to help us. Our other two pilots function similarly. One of them is with New Jersey Medicaid doulas. And they bring us families. We do pay them a bounty for bringing us families, but it's about $100. So it's very low relative to the margin we generate from those families. And in that scenario, they get their service paid for, or at least helped by the platform. They make more money as doulas and birth service providers. We get the families to come onto the platform. And so that's very unlike a traditional registry, which is very focused on selling stuff, right? Strollers, car seats, hard physical goods, because our platform allows you to pay for doula services, diaper subscriptions, coaching lessons. If your kid's great at soccer, it doesn't matter. Our ability to offer a broader offering and partner with service providers is much more meaningful.
That's great. Now, Woody, what's your questions?
Lisa, great job. Really fascinating take on what you're doing. So I commend you because I see the need and opportunity.
Especially with what's going on this week in the government and all that. Yes.
Right. I mean, we're living in this age where you don't know which funding is going to be cut, how it's going to impact people. So I see that as an opportunity for people that you're working with, but it's also a risk if some of those funding sources dry up. Really quick question, and I've got one question on the percent of people that qualify funding when they apply through your program. And then I want to sort of pivot and talk about the patent. So with the, if someone's coming in, and I get the whole product, I get the advertising revenue and all that stuff. But if we go to really like that, the donor fee part, like you're going to hook them up to these philanthropic, all of these grants and all that stuff. Do you actually walk them through the process of filling out these forms? What percent of the applicants are successful at getting the money? Can you give any color to how much on average they get in that area?
Well, so let's separate government from philanthropic. Let's address government first. So today we don't monetize government. That's just a service that we add and help families qualify for. And we work with them to simplify the application processes because John Oliver, I don't know if you guys watch him, he had a terrific segment on exactly this topic a few weeks ago. And 40% of people who start the SNAP application process bail out because it's just too complex and difficult. And I know that firsthand, having lived it myself. And so when we talk about, we will figure out how to monetize the government side over time, but today that is not in the model. It is just a service we offer to families to help them get through. Now let's talk philanthropic. So on the philanthropic side, we have our sister organization called Dopple Community Gifting. So charities and donors give to that, and they let us know how they want to focus their money. We, at that point, when the family comes through and gets qualified, we're collecting their income levels, we're collecting their household size, we're collecting pertinent data so that we know whether they can qualify for different government programs. Once they've qualified for a government program, that triggers Dopple Community Gifting. And since we control on the platform Dopple Community Gifting, it's very easy to know whether somebody qualifies, right? Because they already filled everything out already for us.
And then do they qualify for a set amount of money itself, or how do you decide what they get?
So it's based on matching. So the maximum we'll offer a family is $2,500, but the matching requirements from their friends and family network depends on their income level. So if you're the lowest income level, we'll do a 2-to-1 match, right? So if you max out at $2,500, you or your friends and family, so call it your personal network, is going to be purchasing from Dopple, $1,250 worth of stuff. It could be your doula service, it could be diaper subscriptions, clothing subscriptions, whatever. And then we'll come in on top with $2,500 worth of philanthropic donations. If you are at the higher end of the income level, that is a 50 cent on the dollar match. And so we've scaled it in a way, and we're transparent about that with families based on their income levels.
Okay. And then, Devin, I don't know if I have enough time to do a follow-up.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So just, patents are really an amazing thing. They protect what you're doing. They create this competitive moat, so it allows you to scale without having to worry about people coming in and taking advantage of what you've already built. Talk to me about why patents are so important for what you're doing and how it keeps other people from doing what you're doing.
So we have the accounting for our solution is incredibly complex. So if you think about what happens, a family comes in and let's say they've signed up for a diaper subscription, right? $1,000 for a year. Well, we have to account for by family, by product, and by donor, and by SKU, every single thing that comes through that diaper subscription, right? So a mom adds it to her needs list or to her life registry. And then some of it might be paid for by Dopple community gifting. Some of it might be paid for by her friends and family. And some of it might be paid for through WIC, for example. And so we need to be able to account for everything in that regard at a very detailed level, because I've got to report back to the philanthropic side and to the friends and family exactly what happened with their gift to this mom. In addition, we've got to maintain the credit for the mom so she can come in every month and say, okay, it's time for my next round of diapers.
That's fantastic. Well, this has been, such a great discussion. Pertinent questions from the judges. And Lisa, what a great pitch. I want to encourage everyone to check out the offering. And Shannon, I'm sure, is going to put the link on the screen again, but s4g.biz/Dopple is going to get you to the offering. Go check it out. Learn all you want. Take your time. You don't need to make a decision instantly, and using that QR code or this short link, that's not going to make your investment for you. You get plenty of time to look at that, but go check it out. You want to see what the opportunity is. If it looks interesting, I encourage you to join us for the investor session after the live stream. And after this, I want you to stick around because we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we've got another great pitch. This one from Dr. Kanan Van Williams of Proactive. He and his colleague are going to be telling us about that one. Stick around. You don't want to miss it.
Join us for Super Green Live, where climate capital meets action, January 22nd through 24th. Register at supergreenlive.org. Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
Don't pitch another VC. Pitch your people. The ones who get it. The ones who want in. Keep your vision. Keep your cap table clean. Own your raise. Every step, every share. Raise with Dealmaker. This is capital on your terms.
Welcome back. I'm so excited. We have with us now, we've got Dr. Kanan Van Williams, and we've got with us Bill Houston, who's going to actually, I think, do the pitch for us today due to some technology problems. Dr. Van is in Berlin, Germany, and so we're going to be a little bit flexible with him and give Bill an opportunity to make the presentation on his behalf. Bill, do you have some slides for us? Let's see. We need you to unmute. Let's see. I think I got that.
Yep. Do you see the slide
uploaded? No, we're not seeing slides.
Okay. Give me 1 second here, because on my end, it says they're uploaded.
Okay. Just click on them. On the upload thing. There you go. Okay. Excellent. So, Bill, I'm thrilled to have you here. I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thank you. I want to say hello to everyone. Good evening to everyone. or good afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in. Excited to be here and to have the opportunity to represent the Rancho Affordable Living and the Proactive Realty Group. So our mission at the Proactive Realty Group is to address the affordable housing crisis. Here in the United States, there's a shortage of over 7 million affordable units for people. What that means and what that looks like is that there are people who are insecure, there are people who are houseless, as well as people who are unable to meet their monthly bills, and they have to make really tough decisions on to pay this, to pay that, in order to stay in their place. So Rancho Affordable Living, that is a project of the Proactive Realty Group. So the Proactive Realty Group, to give you a little background, Dr. Kanan Van Williams has been in the real estate industry for 25 plus years. He's had the Proactive Realty Group, which is a fund, for the last 6 years. And this is the first foray into the Reg CF space, because he wanted to democratize access for people in the communities to be able to actually invest in these opportunities. So Rancho Affordable Living is at 1750 North Rancho in Nevada, Las Vegas. In Las Vegas itself, they have a shortage of almost 84,000 affordable units. So that's a huge challenge, and a lot of people are really stressed by the rent. So rents can go anywhere from $12.95 to about $22.50 per month. So the solution that we're bringing with Rancho Affordable Living is we're going to be able to bring in all brand new units, 23 units. All energy efficient units. They're going to all be brand new units, and we're going to be able to charge about $850 a month, which is much lower than what the average rent is. And also because we are very impact focused, we're impact first. And what we mean by that is we look to address UN sustainable goals. One, 3, 5, 6, 10, and 11. Um, and we're able to do that, through these manufactured homes. We are what we like to call a rapid housing organization. What we mean by that is with the manufactured homes, we have the ability to bring those homes in 30 to 60 days and get people housed really quickly. Which if you're homeless, if you're struggling, with paying your rent, that rapid housing is really important, and that's something that we really understand is that people don't have time for ground up construction a lot. So what we do is we come in and we focus on those manufactured homes. So the Rancho Affordable Living, again, it's at 1750 North Rancho. Ironically, directly across the street at 1735 North Rancho, we came in and repositioned a very similar park, have that up running and operational. Um, so that's we're right there. We're in the area. We know the area. We work with like Catholic charities, other nonprofits. So getting the units filled up is not a real issue for us, because the crisis there, the affordable housing crisis, is so stark. And also, we work with a lot of the nonprofit entities who are there in the area, and they bring us referrals. So one of the things that we do as proactive and with Rancho Affordable Living is we work very closely in the ecosystem, right? So we don't just come in with affordable housing. We come in as partners in that ecosystem to get people housed, to give people the services that they need in order to stay housed, right? So we feel that it's just as important to get people into buildings as it is to get them to stay in the buildings. During COVID-19, we had 100% rent payments during that process. The units that we do bring in, as I said, are all sustainable and focused on high tech. And what that does is it's good for the environment, but also because of the sustainability, because of the energy efficiency, we're able to lower the cost that each homeowner has to pay, or each resident has to pay. And also, we're going to have a dealership on the property, and with that dealership, people who want to become homeowners have the ability to purchase their homes as well. So, we're really looking to make an impact within that ecosystem from home ownership to being able to provide rental units for people. Um, Dr. Van himself is $180,000 invested into this opportunity. So he really kind of puts his money where his mouth is, and we really believe in what it is that we're doing. Does this mean I need to move on, Devin? Since I saw you pop onto the screen. Okay. Yeah. So again, we have a fund that's been around for 6 years. We've returned $7 million to investors, and we want to provide an opportunity with Rancho Affordable Living to democratize the access to capital.
You're on mute, Devin.
Oh, you can't hear me. Thank you. Somebody unmuted me. Thank you. That was probably Chandon. Chandon, thank you. Listen, everybody, it's exciting to hear the pitch. It really is a compelling story. I want to encourage everyone who has a question to submit their question. There's a QR code that Shannon's going to put on the screen. He's had it on several times. He'll put it back. If you have a question, you can ask a question. We'll get it answered live on the show. If you're watching on social media, you can also submit a question just by putting it in the comments wherever you're watching on social media. But let's start this one with Woody. Woody, why don't you get us started?
Great. Hey, Bill. Great job. Fascinating. Again, loving all these company pitches. Is there government approval that is required to do what you're doing? And also in that same vein, it would seem that you are providing a valuable service to local communities, meaning local governments, also regional, state, and even federal. Like, are there funds at the local level that you can also leverage to allow you to do what you're doing? Are you layering all this together, or is this just you guys and then the crowd coming up with the capital here to actually get some of these manufactured homes on a new property space?
So there's a lot of questions there,
I love
all in one.
questions.
So yes, there are government regulations, and all of the manufactured homes that we bring in meet all of the requirements for the government. Um, and as I said, we have not necessarily used any like grants or any other type of funding. It's the funding that we're able to raise, and then what we're doing with the Reg CF. We have a larger fund, as I said, and this is kind of our first foray into the Reg CF space to allow people in the community to actually invest and participate in what it is that we're doing. But we always make sure, no matter where we are, that we are part of the ecosystem. And that ecosystem is about helping people and providing stability and dignity to everyone in the community. So we always work with the government if possible and necessary, but certainly we work with all the nonprofits in the area to make sure people get all the services they need, because it's just as important for us to get people into their homes. It's just as important for them to be able to stay in their homes. So we need to address any underlying issues.
Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Teddy, what do you want to know?
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Great job. So wanted to dig in a little bit on, these manufactured homes and, given that these are manufactured homes, what's your experience with the maintenance cycles of these units, like roofs, HVAC, structural integrity, and how does that compare to more traditional multifam housing?
This is going to be a really long answer because a lot of times when people think about manufactured homes, they're thinking about their grandfather's manufactured home. And that is not what we are talking about here today. those manufactured homes, they're all very low E. They're all very high tech. They have to meet HUD standards. So they also have to have like wind resistance. So yes, they are really really good homes. The maintenance is going to be like it is with a stick built home. These these properties are going to be around 40, 50 years. So they're going to need maintenance, of course, but the maintenance isn't a lot different than what you're going to find with regular homes that are built currently today. Um, we can bring those homes in. We can bring in two two bedroom, two bath. That's what we're going to do at Rancho Affordable Living. Um, and again, all of these units are coming in at a lower price. They're coming in much quicker because they are, they're built in the factory. So you don't have to worry about weather. You don't have, there's a lot of things that you don't have to worry about. You come in, you set the homes, and then people are ready to move in. So I think, again, I really want to emphasize the rapid housing part of this is that, people who are suffering from, homelessness or, home insecurity, house insecurity, they are able to get in these homes within 30 to 60 days, once the property is acquired and we're able to start renting them rapidly.
That's great. Now, I think our last judge to go would be Paul. Paul, what do you want to know?
Hey, Bill. I love what you and William are doing. I actually follow Dr. Van Williams and his work repositioning distressed properties across multiple states. And I'm really struck by his commitment to putting substantial personal capital into these projects alongside investors. That kind of skin in the game is rare in this space. Now, as a former real estate professional myself, I do have some questions about the specific mechanics of how this project works financially. Now, you mentioned the cross street property, and I know from Dr. Van Williams that it achieved a 90% retention rate at 20 to 30% below market rents, which is incredible. Can you help walk through the specific unit economics for me? Like, what is your all-in development cost per unit and the projected monthly rent, which I about 850 you said versus market rate, and how that cash flow supports investors while maintaining affordability long term?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to address the first part about Dr. Van, his commitment to this. Um, every unit is 100% affordable, right? So there's no mixed income. It's all 100% affordable. Also, we mandate 20 to 30% below market on the rents, on the area rents. So the way we're able to do that is that Dr. Van himself is a licensed dealer, and he's able to get properties at a really good price, and then he passes those savings on to residents. So that's pretty much how that works. So I don't know the specifics on each unit, what that cost is, but I do know that we get those at quite a discount because of Dr. Van, and then Dr. Van passes that on to the residents. Also, I want to say, and this is I wish Dr. Van were on to tell this story because it's not my story, it's his. But he says publicly that the reason that he has this commitment to affordable housing is because he grew up in affordable housing. He knows the value of affordable housing, the stability that it provides to young people, to children, how it helps them in school, how it helps people to get employed and stay employed. So that's why he is really in this as much as he can be. I mean, he is $180,000 invested in this particular deal, and millions in the fund at large. Um, our focus is on helping people stabilize their lives with dignity through housing.
This has been absolutely fantastic, and I just love all the great work that you all are doing. I want to just check the time here. This is so time sensitive. We've got, I think, a minute or so left. Woody, do you have an extra question that you want to ask?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about where the manufactured homes come from. Do you have relationships with local vendors that are doing this? Are they outfitted with, the renewable, the solar, and the wind that you were talking about?
Yes, they come off the line like that. So we deal with Cavco, Legacy Homes. So Dr. Van is a licensed dealer, with those manufactured home companies.
Fascinating.
Excellent. Well, our the time just keeps moving, It's kind of relentless. But I want to take just a minute and encourage everyone to be aware of the question link. If you've got questions, you can submit a question at s4g.biz/question. We'll have opportunities still for you to ask questions from our last presenter. That'll be Chad from Victory Hemp Foods. That's going to be great, coming up in just a minute. But I want to invite you all to visit s4g.biz/rancho to learn more about investing in the Rancho Affordable Living project by Proactive Realty Group. This is such a tremendous opportunity to support genuine resources flowing to affordable housing, genuine, real, permanent, affordable housing. This is really an unusual opportunity for us to invest. And I'm going to confess something here. I've invested in this one. I'm very excited about it. I encourage you to check it out. With that, let me remind you again, our next presenter will be Chad Rosen of Victory Hemp Foods. You don't want to miss that one, so stick around.
Live, where climate capital meets action, January 22nd through 24th. Register at supergreenlive.org.
VCs don't fund communities, people do. When you raise from your community, you raise more than capital. You raise believers, advocates, ambassadors, built together, funded together. Equity crowdfunding, powered by Dealmaker.
Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to introduce you now to Chad Rosen. He's the founder and CEO of Victory Hemp Foods. He's led the company since 2014. This really is not a startup. This is a company operating at some scale, looking for some growth capital, big opportunities ahead in a growing marketplace. He's a seasoned entrepreneur and an advocate. He's advanced sustainable agriculture nationally and is serving in leadership roles and representing Kentucky at the White House Global Entrepreneurship Summit. He's a big deal, and we're thrilled to have Chad here with us tonight. With that, Chad, let me get your slides up here on the screen. We'll turn this over to you.
Well, thank you, Devin, and thanks to the entire Supercrowd family for giving us this opportunity to tell our story about our business and share more about our community round on WeFunder. What if I told you I was creating a market for the soybean in 1851? The same year the very first seeds arrived in Illinois and Iowa. Imagine standing at the edge of an agricultural revolution when a handful of curious farmers planted a crop that would eventually transform global food, feed, and fuel systems. At that time, no one could have imagined that the soybean would become a $100 billion a year commodity woven into every facet of modern life. Today, hemp is standing in that same moment. After decades of prohibition, we're reintroducing one of the world's most versatile crops back into the agricultural economy. One that delivers complete protein for human health, oil for clean energy, and fiber for sustainable materials. And just like those early soy pioneers, Victory Hemp is building the market from the ground up. from genetics and farmers to processing to products that meet the needs of today's food and fuel industries. We're not waiting for the market to catch up. We're creating it, and it's happening right now. So I want to say hello. I'm sitting here in Kentucky, and this story started almost over a decade ago. But this is really the story about the farmer and the challenges that they face. For decades, farmers have been forced to work within a system that's harmful to us and soil health. Subsidies and policies have prioritized efficiency and yield over soil health, crop diversity, and consumer wellness. With over 180 million acres of corn and soybeans grown in the U.S. alone, many farmers have limited options. They're locked into production systems that often push crops onto land where they don't belong. And to make matters worse, a lot of the protein and food ingredients on store shelves are imported through long, fragmented supply chains that drive up emissions, reduce transparency, and put consistency at risk. The result is that foods rely on common allergens. They cause digestive immune issues, and they carry hidden risks from hormones, antibiotics, and even disruptive phytoestrogens. And it's not just our body taking the hit, it's our ecosystem. Conventional farming operations can emit high levels of methane and cause widespread manure pollution. Industrial farming relies on monoculture practices that degrade soil, demand synthetic pesticides, and drive deforestation in places like the Amazon. Hemp delivers what other plant proteins can't. Our products offer the ideal 3-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids and are rich in essential fatty acids like ALA and SDA, all while staying extremely low in saturated fat. It's also a powerful protein source, naturally delivering 70% protein with all 9 essential amino acids, plus critical micronutrients like iron, magnesium, and zinc. And unlike soy or pea, it's easy to digest and free from common allergens. Look, America deserves a protein that's clean, delicious, and kind to the planet. Hemp is that answer. No pesticides, no allergens, no compromises. It's easy for farmers to grow, great for soil health, and delivers a complete gut-friendly protein for consumer and food brands alike. My name's Chad Rosen. I'm the CEO and founder of Victory Foods, and I've always worked in manufacturing businesses which seek to have a positive impact. I'm working in building material business, and I was on the founding team of a manufacturing business that pioneered recycled glass surfaces for high-performance sustainable businesses, a business that we eventually sold to the largest natural store manufacturer in North America. And my passion for this business really came about from the experience that so many other active athletes have after drinking a protein shake after a long run or workout. I was always experiencing bloating or cramping, or I was left with a taste profile that I didn't love or want to drink again. I love the flavor of hemp hearts and how they made me feel just as much as I love the nutritional profile. And so when Congress provided legislation to put hemp on the pathway to legality in 2014, I saw that as my opportunity. Our products have mild neutral flavor. They have high water binding capacity. They help formulators create clean label products with fewer ingredients and better texture. From plant-based burgers to protein shakes to skincare, hemp heart ingredients make it possible to build better food products. And we're not raising capital to start this business. As Devin said, we're raising capital to scale the business. In fact, the past 3 months, we've seen our revenue sail through $1 million run rate to reach $1.6 million in annual run rate. Our patent was awarded for the process that we're running today, one that doesn't use solvents or add heat in the manufacturing process. And this patent gives us a head start in a lane that we have largely defined. Our backers are strategic as well as smart, and our community round is helping us scale our capacity and our revenue. Our state-of-the-art facility in Carrollton, Kentucky is fully automated, and it's certified by multiple third-party quality regimes. Global Food Safety Standard Initiative certified, OK Kosher, Project Non-GMO, USDA Organic, and this is meeting the highest global standards for food safety and quality in the industry. Hundreds of thousands of acres of hemp grain have already been grown in North America for food ingredients in the past 3 years. It fits seemingly with existing equipment and crop rotations. Its regenerative nature restores soil health by improving biodiversity, reducing the need for synthetic pesticides while sequestering carbon from the atmosphere. Hemp is sitting at the intersection of good farming and healthy eating, creating a new supply chain that works better for farmers, the planet, and the protein economy. Sounds like we're pretty close to the end here. I'm seeing everyone's face pop.
That's right. We got judges champing at the bit to ask you some questions. So
All right,
I'm going
cool.
to turn the time over to Paul to ask you a question to get us started.
Hey, Paul.
Chad. Hey, loved your presentation. I also love your company name, and I imagine it's a play off the World War II rallying call, Hemp for Victory.
Precisely.
Which had government it is all right. Yeah, it had government films and posters in an effort to demonstrate the importance of farmers growing hemp for the war. Now, I myself am a consumer of hemp, and I'm not just talking about gummies. I actually use the hemp hearts, blend it with cashews to make a delicious plant-based cheese. Fantastic. Now, you're scaling production to 500%. And while maintaining quality certifications, what specific risks do you see in maintaining SQF, USDA organic, and kosher compliance during rapid expansion? Have you stress tested your supplier relationships for this volume increase?
Yeah, that's a great question. Scaling is certainly a part of, is going to pressure test all the systems that we built into place. I will, I'll remind you that while we're scaling in a way that is a lot bigger than where we are today, we're still a grain of sand on the beach of agriculture and food manufacturing. Our team has worked for brands like or companies like Conagra and Treehouse Foods that made the great value syrups that you find at Walmart, which is their private label. So they're really used to managing enormous volume. As far as the certifications go, we have a foundation set in place, and we mantle all the data and information that we have to keep track of through ERP systems. So it's all a digitized process, and our team is consistently trained on how to use the system, how to keep up with the data that goes into it, and then we're periodically and regularly audited by all those certification systems, so that if we do get off course by a bit, they can help us get back on course. But great question. I would also say suppliers. I think that's probably an area that we have the most work to do, right? If we scale our crops beyond 100,000 acres, which is not incomprehensible given the canola is a 20 million acre crop, we're going to have to recruit more farmers. We're going to have to see more infrastructure. We're going to have to see more elevators come online for hemp. And I think that's the universe that we're hoping is created in this agricultural community that we're leading. So it's a great question, and I hope to have good answers for you as we grow over the decades.
Fantastic. Before we go on to Teddy's question, I want to remind everyone that you can learn more about investing at s4g.biz/victory, s4g.biz/victory. You can also ask questions. If you want to ask a question, visit s4g.biz/question, and you can submit a question to be answered tonight. And watch the QR codes. Chandon's rotating those QR codes, so you can just scan one of those puppies to do those things. But Teddy, let's get you up here now. What do you want to know?
Yeah, hey Chad. So, you're pretty unique in that your core business is built on B2B contracts. So, curious how you view the direct to consumer side, and do you have plans to, invest into the growth of that side of your revenue, or do you really see yourself long term as a B2B enterprise business?
So yeah, thanks, Teddy. Good to see you again. Our core business is built on B2B enterprise contracts, supplying bulk hemp protein and oil to food manufacturers and food ingredient providers. And these customers, they rely on us for consistent high volume orders. And our job is to create a stable supply chain for them, and to really focus our energy, effort, and resources in making sure that we don't have any interruptions in our supply chain. And I think that dovetails really well with the question that Paul asked, which is, how do you maintain consistency? How do you maintain reliability? How do you maintain raw material supplies? And so we see that the D2C effort is very important from an educational standpoint, but there's tons of good brands. If you've ever been to Natural Products Expo West, there's thousands and thousands of brands creating the next delectable delight for any aisle in the supermarket. And we really want to be the Intel inside, right? The Gore-Tex of the healthy food movement. And I think our position in the world is to make sure that the bus runs on time. And when those trucks bump our dock to get their orders, we're filling them with quality, healthy food ingredients that were grown in a sustainable way, that are able to trace all the way back to a transparent supply chain without any interruption, because we weren't distracted along our mission.
Fantastic. Great job, Chad. Now, lastly, let's turn to Woody again. Woody, what do you want to know about this deal? It's an intriguing one.
What I really want to know is, what's Paul doing with that cheese?
Yeah.
I mean, can we all just go over to Paul's with some wine and see what's going on?
Nachos, the best nachos you can have.
This is mind blowing. Chad, great job. Truly fascinating. I live in Colorado, so not too far from Iowa, and a lot of the farming that's going on there. We also here. So I'm attuned to what's going on in the crops. There's a lot of, we often see things, if you build it, they will come. This is sort of like, if you grow it, they will buy. I want to dig into the competitive side of what you're doing. Who are you competing against? Have other people seen this as the future? Are you the pioneer that's showing everyone the opportunity? And then tell me about the supply chain side, like these people that you're talking to at the Natural West conference or whatever. Are they just reaching out to you like, we need this product, or are you doing more of the outreach to them like, you need to buy this product?
Yeah, those are great questions. Very thoughtful questions. Thanks, and nice to meet you. So to answer the first question, we are pioneers in this space. So there's, and this is where it gets a little bit wonky, but there's hemp seed protein and there's hemp heart protein. Okay, what's the difference? They both come from the hemp seed eventually. But it would be like if I made you a smoothie with a banana and I didn't take the peel off. You would taste that smoothie and you'd be like, this is gross. This has fiber and it's just nasty. That's kind of hemp seed protein, because they leave the shell on it and they run it through an expeller press and you get all the shell in that hemp seed protein. It's green, it's gritty, it kind of tastes nasty. What we do is we take the shell off it and we crush the hemp heart, just like the fruit and the banana, and we make a really clean protein that's 70% that has very little flavor. So we've pioneered that. That's what we have a patent on, this process that pulls that product through on a continuous basis. Now, we're pioneering that, but we're leveraging the relationships of manufacturers and distributors that have been in the market selling ingredients years upon years, who have been listening to their customers saying, we want a product that doesn't have allergens. We want a product that's non-GMO. We want a product that doesn't taste like beans. As an example of that, we work with the largest hemp manufacturer in the world, a company called Manitoba Harvest, which, I don't know, Paul, what's in your pantry as far as hemp hearts go, but they are the single largest brand on store shelves across the world. They sell their hemp hearts to Kirkland. So they're in every Costco, right? So they sell us hemp hearts. We crush those and sell them back, and they sell them to brands that you're also familiar with, brands that are in Costco, making pancakes, making bars, making gluten-free pretzels, making beverages. So we leverage relationships with other companies. We go through distributors. When we go to Expo West, yeah, we're looking at what the brands are talking about, what they're offering in terms of clean label, protein claims. And we say, hey, have you ever heard of hemp protein? Have you ever worked with it before? We have a product that might help you achieve some of your formulation characteristics. So our outreach, our marketing programs are all related to formulators. So that's why you don't see us a lot. We spend a lot of our energy, effort, and resources in terms of sales budget going to conferences where food formulators, food scientists go. They're not really big, flashy conferences, but that's the place where we meet our target customer.
Love it.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about trying to appeal to a genuine business to business clientele in this space. And yeah, I guess like any business to business thing, it might be boring to some of the folks who are, for instance, watching on television now, right? They're saying, this is fun. I get to think about whether I'm going to invest tonight. I get to think about what questions I might ask as an investor, even starting with very small amounts of money. Anyway, so much to think about. We've got just time for a bonus question. Who wants to ask a bonus question?
I'll ask it. All right. So it's, this space is owned by, you said it, like the Monsantos, the ConAgras, they have the space. Are they the ones that acquire you down the road? Like, who's the person that's going to be like, this is where it's going, we want to own it?
Another great question. Yeah, I think it really relates to exit and return on investment, which, we're cognizant that we need to get a return on capital. We have to recycle that capital for our investors so that they can go on to do more good investing. I think that there's probably multiple exit opportunities. One is that we eventually list our securities on a public exchange. And I think there's attractive optionality there. Another one is that we get acquired by a company that's going to continue with our mission. Now, I will say that we have 60 angels on our cap table. We have a few VCs, but all of them are mission aligned with what we're doing, which is reinventing the food system, bring transparent and nutritious, delicious products to market that aren't hurting soil, that aren't hurting the farmer's bottom line, but are helping in both of those areas. And so whoever acquires us, if we go that route, strategic, and I think that there's a great argument for working with someone who's looking for a solution like we offer, we would be very open to having a conversation, as long as it doesn't pull us across our red line. And there's a lot of red lines that we have that traditional agriculture, commodity agriculture, has relied on for quite some time. But the good news is that I think that a lot of those companies that you mentioned are looking for solutions that work within the lanes that agriculture has already carved, but take an innovative approach to it and are not GM, are not using pesticides, and are connecting with consumers in a way that they are calling for. So that's kind of the allure and of Victory as an acquisition target.
Thank you.
That's fascinating. Thanks, Woody. Boy, this has been such a great discussion. I want to encourage everybody to check this out. Shannon's got the QR code on the screen right now. I encourage you to scan that QR code or just visit s4g.biz/victory. That will take you to the offering page. You can browse to your heart's content tonight. And whether you invest tonight or in 2 weeks, that's an exciting opportunity for you to consider. And I encourage you to take this seriously. This is an interesting investment opportunity and could be well worth your while. I want to thank everybody for being here. We are not done. I know we've been through the 4 pitches. They're done, but we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, you're going to hear closing arguments from all 4 of our pitching entrepreneurs. You'll also get to vote yourself. You get to cast a vote. You get to choose the Supercrowd Award. Judge choose theirs, and you'll get to watch them and hear them deliberate so you will know what they're thinking as you are trying to choose your vote. So this is a lot of great stuff coming up. Don't miss it. Stick around.
Join us for Super Green Live, where climate capital meets action, January 22nd through 24th. Register at supergreenlive.org. Digital Niche Agency is the top investor acquisition agency. DNA has helped founders raise over 9 figures via regulated investment crowdfunding with a 3-pronged strategy using digital advertising, content marketing, and strategic outreach. Book a call today.
You built it with your audience. Now let them own a piece. The next generation of startups won't just have customers. They'll have shareholders. Raise with Dealmaker. This is capital on your terms.
Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited. We're now to the point where we're going to listen to our final closing arguments. We'll be going in reverse order tonight. That is, we'll reverse the order that we used for the original pitches, which means we'll start with Chad from Victory Hemp Foods. So, Chad, let's see. I think you look like you're ready to go. So, Chad, take it away. You've got 60 seconds to convince the judges to vote for you, to convince the audience to vote for you, and to convince everyone
All right.
jump in and invest.
Listen, in 2014, I left the West Coast and I moved to rural Kentucky with one mission in mind, and that's to stand shoulder to shoulder with farmers, brought hemp back into the rotations, and to build them a path to market those products. So Victory started with a handful of seeds, and today we've grown into the largest manufacturer of hemp protein and oil in North America. We're proving what's possible when innovation meets the land. So if you care about human health and soil health, you don't need to look any further than food and agriculture for solutions. Hemp is that solution, a single crop that feeds people with complete proteins and clean oils, restores soil, and captures carbon. Every acre we plant makes the world a little bit better. But this is still early, the beginning of a generational shift. Every major crop starts really small before it rewrote the story of agriculture. And that's what this is. It's a chance to stand at the start of the next great agricultural economy. And Victory is more than a company. It's a movement to rebuild food, fuel, and farming from the ground up. Market, we're doing good for the planet, is also good business. This is our moonshot, and we're inviting you to grow it with us.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Chad. We're thrilled. We're thrilled. And next on the list is now Bill Houston from Proactive. Bill, take it away.
Thank you for the opportunity. And the closing argument here is that the affordable housing crisis is something that's here. It's real. It's growing every day. And we have a proven method. We've been doing this for a long time. We've been very successful with this. And, with this Reg CF offering, we are opening this up to anyone who wants to invest, anyone non-accredited investors, accredited investors who want to solve a problem that is impacting the globe, but certainly impacting the United States. We do rapid housing. We get these houses up and operational within 30 to 60 days. And, we have already returned over $7.5 million to investors. So we have a proven model. If you want to make an impact in people's lives today, invest in Proactive and the Rancho Affordable Living. Thanks.
Fantastic. Great job, Bill. These are all compelling offers. I know it's hard for me to pick which one I would invest in tonight, but it's now Lisa's turn. Lisa Marino of Dopple. Take it away. Oh, Lisa, you're muted.
There we go. So as I talk to investors, I often get asked two things. First is why this and why now? Bottom line, I can't watch families struggle knowing how to fix the problem. And then two, I'm working with the team that We've been together for 13 years. We're building a unicorn, and this group is known for turning my vision into product, customers, and revenue. Last, now that my kids are grown, I get to indulge my workaholism, which I haven't been able to do for 20 years, and it's very exciting. The second question I get asked all the time is, how do you make money from poor people? And, my quick answer is, ever heard of Walmart? That's the easy solution. But ultimately, I realized that investors were having difficulty conceptualizing the economic impact of everyday families and what they have both in the US, both in terms of spending as well as solving their monthly shortfalls, which exist for the vast majority of families in this country. So let's share some stats. 90% of families spend 80% of income on essentials, driving half of the $20 trillion in consumer spending. Like Walmart, Dopple harnesses that purchasing power while impacting monthly shortfalls. So join us in family funding. With Dopple, even a few $100s a month changes
Fantastic.
lives, savings, education, and brighter futures for others, for kids.
Yeah, it's amazing. And our last pitch comes from our first pitcher, John Burlett at Core Tax Deeds. John, take your minute.
All right, thank you all. I enjoyed this evening. Core Tax Deeds. The core stands for cash out real estate. The market is, we have the teams in place to scale in this marketplace. In Texas alone, we have 254 counties, more counties than any other state. Property values have more than doubled in the last 5 years. Property taxes are on the radar screen in many, many states. They're quite frankly, in my opinion, out of control. School taxes is leading the way, but they're a fact of life. Not every state's like Florida going to do away with property taxes, but we have the teams in place. We have the systems in place. We have the experience to buy properties right. And by buying right, I mean at 20 to 30 cents on the dollar. We buy and sell as soon as the redemption period's over. We put the property on the market, and we have a system. Love to answer any tough questions. Get on a call with anybody who has some interest.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. Now, I want to invite everyone who's watching to join us for the private investor session. You don't need to be an accredited investor, although we welcome accredited investors. Regulation crowdfunding is open to everyone to invest. We want to encourage everyone who's interested in investing in any one of these transactions to join us. The QR code is on the screen right now. Also, s4g.biz/investor will get you there. I encourage you to join us. This is kind of an exciting moment in the day because we're going to shift gears a little bit and turn the time over to our judges to begin their deliberation right here in front of us. We're going to put the pressure on them to actually do this judging. Oh my gosh, right in front of us here. And at the same time, oh my gosh, you're going to get to start voting. So right now, this minute, everyone, you can vote. And you just visit s4g.biz/vote719. And the 719 doesn't mean anything. That's just random. That's our way of keeping people from jumping the gun, right? We keep that double top secret. Only Chandon and I knew that code until 10 seconds ago. So now you know, vote at s4g.biz/vote719. Meanwhile, our judges are going to be contemplating the incredible challenge of choosing a winner. Take it away, guys.
First and foremost, Paul, do you have any cheese we can have while we're going over this?
If you're going to be in DC this month, I'll bring some of that cheese. Fantastic for nachos, salads, you name it. But interestingly enough, these four companies is like, it's not like asking what's your favorite cheese. It's asking what's your favorite food and we're trying to compare not just apples to oranges, but apples to cheese almost. These are so different. These companies offer such a unique perspective. And that's kind of what I love about this industry and these opportunities, crowd investing, is we can have such incredible diversification with small amounts of money. And these four companies kind of highlight just that exact. Now, for my own pick, I think I'm going to have to go with Victory Hemp, just because their post revenue. I like their deal terms. I like all the companies, and I may even invest in all four of them. I'm going to take another look at it. It's just that good this time around, but my pick is going to go with Victory.
Can I just ask you a question about that, since you're with it? Because I think they're fascinating too, but I was pulled up their financials. They've got, they're pretty heavy on their debt side, and I've seen that grow. Now, there's a lot of reasons why their liabilities have increased, because there's, what they have to buy in order to do the work that they're doing. Is there any, risk, you think, for the liability side?
Absolutely. And I think that's a big reason why they're doing this raise, is because of that. And this will give them more, not only to expand and grow, but to relieve some of that pressure that they're facing right now. I saw that as well. And it wasn't an obvious choice. It's also something that I love my hemp heart cheese. It's something, and I think I see it in a lot of places. Hemp is one of these kind of products that are starting off, and I do think it's something. But at the same time, Dopple could be. If somebody wanted to go with Dopple, I would be like, that's great. All of them are fantastic. What do you think, Woody? Or Teddy?
Actually, Teddy, you want to let's let you, Teddy, you jump in. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So, for Victory Hemp Foods, Chad is probably annoyed with me because he pitched at KingsCrowd's event last week, and I always hammer him on like the D2C side. I think that's what makes Victory Hemp Foods so interesting, is because the CPG type food and beverage companies, we generally see raising Reg CF. Like, they're not B2B. Like, B2B is not their core. And I think with Victory Hemp Foods is you're really getting an opportunity to invest in a supplier for a lot of these CPG companies. And it's not like your typical marketing CPG play that, a lot of times CPG investing is when you're investing in startups. So yeah, I think Victory Hemp Foods, super interesting. And I think Core Tax Deeds also, John is super fascinating person. I never thought someone could get me, excited to part with my money to invest in tax deeds. It was like, you just never thought that was a possibility. And I really resonated with what he said, where, in that business, in tax deeds, you really need someone that, can go to the properties, get a feel for the neighborhood and area. And that's a skill you really develop over decades of experience. And I think John is clearly the guy to do it. And just was fascinated by that one.
The with John, when I was asking him about, who else is showing up there, how are you competing, and then when he said he looks at the bids afterwards, and maybe you guys can help me understand this. Does that mean that they put a fixed bid in, and you don't know if you've got it until afterwards? And if that's the case, so I guess I had more questions for him, like how sure you're going to get these properties? Like, how many are you bidding on before you actually know how many you get? I get the numbers side of it. Like, if no one redeems it, you can actually, pay off the taxes and then flip the property and renovate it or whatever. So it's very attractive. I was just sort of lost on, when does he actually get how many of those deals he wins?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those scenarios, like your experience doing it over so many years that, at some point with startup investing in general, you just got to trust that the founder, if you believe in their experience and kind of what they bring to the table, they're going to figure it out. And I think Core Tax Deeds has certainly done that. John has certainly done that. But I agree. It's one of those, when you get into the mechanics of core tax deed investing, it's like, I don't even want to like go into the details there. It's probably make my head hurt. But
Well, I would think that it wouldn't be just a blind bid, since it's not in the live auction. It wouldn't make sense. But again, I'm not an expert on it. I do think it's a wonderful opportunity to get additional exposure to something that it's hard to get exposure to. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for investors for that reason, especially when he's talking about triple, digit percentage profit margins. It's quite an opportunity.
I mean, totally. I mean, there's so many of the deals that we look at, we're on the when do you exit? Like, who's buying you? When's the return coming in? To see one of these where you're like, we actually start paying back our investors, between 6 months and 2 years, that's great. I don't see that often, so that was like, when I was looking at the ROI for all of these and weighing them, I was just like, well, John's, short term, I love that. Lisa has got this opportunity that is, I mean, I don't know if it's going to scale to 140 million so fast, but if those partnerships do prove to be the formula for success to bring in those clients, I could see how she could scale, because it's solving that safety net issue. Like I love, like, from the social point of view, I just love what she's doing.
And she was mentioning she doesn't really have marketing costs. Her customer acquisition was so low through these partnerships, and really that's the big killer is that those marketing costs. So I mean, it is a tremendous opportunity too. Dopple, I agree.
Yeah, it was a problem. She mentioned how much of this funding goes untapped, this aid that goes untapped and doesn't get to families every year. It's a problem I frankly didn't realize was so big. And I think, they've developed a clear moat. And she was explaining some of the financial intricacies that need to take place on the back end to really, make the distribution of those funds actually work. And I think she certainly has put the business and a team together to really hit that as best as possible. So yeah, Dopple, extremely interesting. And then on Rancho and Dr. Van and Bill, completely different type of investment opportunity from a Dopple or a Victory Hemp. And what's interesting is they literally did the exact same thing across the street. And Dr. Van and Bill, have clearly been through this before. And, in terms of renovating these properties, getting these manufactured homes, getting the supply partnerships, in line for this to be profitable. So yeah, it's an interesting one as well.
I like how he had those relationships there to actually make this something that they can turn around. Like when I was listening, I was just like, well, how do you turn it around? And when he said, well, we have the relationships with manufacturers, I was like, okay, there you go. It sort of the whole story.
He actually put in the comments here that he brings in units 60 to 75% below retail costs.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So, if I were to wrap it up on my end, I would lean, I'm torn between Lisa and Chad, but I think I'm just sold on the cheese. So I'm going to go with Chad.
It's good.
Yeah, Paul, I'm going to be in DC later, so I'm going to need to try some
all right.
of that.
I'll bring the recipe.
All right.
So, if you're voting for cheese, I think I could interpret that to suggest you're voting for Victory Hemp Foods. Is that what I should conclude?
I think so.
Well, Teddy,
yeah, I was torn between Victory Hemp and John and Core Tax Deeds, but yeah, I think Victory Hemp Foods is it. For in terms of what I would invest in today, that food space is something I'm a little more comfortable with. So, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Chad. I'll bring you in, let you, say thank you to the judges. And then after that, I'm going to announce the winner of the Supercrowd Award as well. Chad, go ahead. Do you have anything to say to these judges?
Mute.
Oh, muted for the
Dave, oh, here we go. Can you hear me?
Now we can, yes.
I think I can make us all happy. I think there's some kind of JV that we can work out here. Paul, we're going to get your recipe and launch a D2C brand that Teddy's been beating me over the head for, and we get to eat it. So it's a win-win-win. Thank you guys so much for your support. I know you guys see hundreds of pitches, and it's such an honor to be selected. And I can't thank you enough. Me and my team are will be extraordinarily thrilled to celebrate this victory. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to announce I have neglected and need to unneglect the obligation and the excitement around the prizes. There are real valuable prizes there associated with this victory. Digital niche agency, one of the leading agencies in this community is offering a 2-hour consulting session to help you advance your marketing. And this is something you take advantage of immediately, Chad, to go, schedule a meeting with Jason and get some real guidance on how to accelerate this. But KingsCrowd is also going to offer you a 3-month trial membership to their Edge platform, which is really cool. It'll allow you to see kind of what investors are seeing, how they're evaluating things in a published sense. Very important. We'll also you'll also get copies of Woodie's book, Investimers, and I get a copy of my book, Crowdfunding Made Simple. So lots of great stuff. And with that, now let me announce the winner. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna hide everybody. So, are you ready for the drum roll? I should have a drum roll, for this. But the Supercrowd Award. This was I don't ever remember closer voting. Right? Oh my gosh, it was just nip and tuck. I was watching the tabulation live, and the lead would go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Holy cow! But in the end, by a whisker, Chad won again. So Chad, let me bring you back on here. Chad, congratulations. That's really a remarkable thing to come away with both prizes, to win both the public accolade as well as the wise sage accolade of the investors tonight. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you so much. Really, couldn't be more thrilled about it. I think that we're doing something that everyone can relate to. If we're all fortunate enough to eat 3 meals a day, there's protein, lipids, and sweeteners on every single fork bite, and I think this is just something people connect with on a primal basis.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. I'm going to bring all of our participants on because I want to really, at this point, I want to focus on something really critical. And Chad, I know your victory bell keeps going off there. Maybe you could find a way to mute it. Now, you don't want to show off, but I do want to thank our judges. What a great group! Thank you all for being here, Paul, Teddy, and let's see. I got. There we go. Sorry, I was missing something. But Paul, Teddy, and Woody, you guys are great. Your expertise is just unrivaled, and I recognize all of you are professional investors. There's real money behind your judgment. I hope you'll continue to evaluate investing in all of these deals. And with that, I want to invite my dear colleague Chandon to throw up that investor session registration. I know we put this up a number of times, and I want to be absolutely explicitly clear. Anyone who's interested in investing, whether you are interested in investing $100 or $100,000, you are welcome to join us and come ask questions of these entrepreneurs about their deals. And this is an opportunity for you to ask some of the questions you may have been too timid to ask in public, or may have been not asking simply because you knew they couldn't answer the question around deal terms, for instance, publicly. In the private session, they'll be able to open up the kimono a little bit, forgive the metaphor, and they'll be able to answer all the questions that you may ask. So I encourage you to register at s4g.biz/investor. We'll all be there, and you'll have an opportunity to ask all of the questions that you may have. With that, I want to thank everybody again for being here tonight. This has been a great event. I want to congratulate all of the companies and remind both the audience and the companies that the company, it was an honor to be on the show tonight. There were a lot of companies that are great companies doing amazing work that applied and were not chosen to pitch. And so it means that thoughtful, smart people, our great judges, carefully screened these companies and found these four worthy of consideration. I think they are all certainly worthy of your consideration for an investment. Again, I invite you to join us for the investor session. I invite you to consider investing in each and every one of these deals. They're all compelling. With that, we will wrap up for tonight, but I hope to see you all in the investor session. Sure.